Property prices increase in all capital cities. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. Let's have a look at this media release from the Australian Bureau of Statistics. Because, well, property is going up in every capital city, apparently. Let's have a look at some of these numbers and see if we agree or disagree. And I suspect it'll only be in housing, of course, not apartments. So residential property prices rose 3% in the December quarter 2020, the strongest quarterly growth since the December quarter of 2019, according to figures released yesterday by the ABS. All capital cities recorded a rise in residential property prices in December, led by Sydney at 3%, Melbourne 3.4%, shouldn't 3.4 be above 3% anyway? Brisbane rose 2.7%, Perth 2.9%, Adelaide 2.6%, Canberra 3.4%, Hobart 3.1%, and Darwin 3.2%. So everywhere's going up. ABS head of price statistics, Michelle Marquard, said the rise in property prices is consistent with a range of housing market indicators. New lending commitments to households, auction clearance rates, and days on market all improved during the December quarter. Well, some of these properties with days on market, it's just crazy. It's shifting so quick. What you're hearing. I need to keep going with the real estate fail series. I've got a few more. Keep sending them in, guys. Maybe they need to start measuring the number of Photoshop edits on photos. House prices rose 3.9% in Sydney and 3.7% in Melbourne, while attached dwelling prices rose 1.4% in Sydney and 2.5% in Melbourne. Annual residential property prices rose 3.6%. This is the first time that all capital cities have seen an annual rise since the December quarter of 2014. Since 2014. You chuck money at property and it inflates. The largest rise in property prices was in Hobart at 6.4%, followed by Canberra at 5.2% and Perth at 4.2%. I feel sorry for the Tasmanians. Your housing is going to become just as unaffordable as other parts in the country. I remember when I was there as a student, I was working for the Brisbane office of a Tasmanian firm, and they'd fly us down for training and just to get to know the head office in Launceston. And I was so very jealous of the property prices there that, a student could afford to buy a house on just the normal wage. It was frustrating that, from my perspective, that they were getting paid similar amounts to those of us in Queensland when the cost of living was so much higher. And now, it's kind of all gone out the window, isn't it? The number of residential property sales increased in all capital cities apart from Melbourne and Hobart during 2020. The strongest increases were observed in Perth, Canberra, Sydney, and Melbourne. Total value of Australia's 10.6 million residential dwellings rose by $257.9 billion to $7,724 billion in the December quarter. So there you go, everyone. That is Australia's wealth right there. That's where it's all going in. Housing, housing, housing. Is that actually adding any value to the economy other than inflating the costs of buying into this stuff? You've got to think about it because intuitively, the more expensive housing gets, the harder it is for people to get into the property market and the more difficult it is for people to start a family and to do those type of things. I mean, for Rachel and I, once I had her full-time working for our practice, she said, well, then we can afford to have kids, no matter what. But not everyone is going to make that decision. A lot of people are worried and they want the stability, so that causes issues. The strongest rise since the December quarter of 2016, the median price of residential dwellings in Australia is now $728,500. That's the median, guys. The median weekly earnings, not the average, the median is about $1,100. You know what? Let's go to the CBA home loan calculator. And let's see, say you got, what is it? 720,000. So we'll take 70 grand off it. We'll take 70 grand off it. We'll say you borrow 650 grand. So that is, what do we want here? Your principal and interest repayments would be, I need to put another zero on there, $2,400 per month. Everyone. So let's say if you're earning before tax, $1,100 per week, times 4 minus 24. I should be able to work this out in my head, but, you know, I'm pretty tired. That leaves you with 2 grand. So you'd be paying more than half your gross. You'd be in mortgage stress by default on the median income, buying the median house. So you need a couple. So it'll be 88 minus 24. So it's not as bad. Not as bad. Still, big chunk creeping up to mortgage stress. And that's with this interest rate. That's with 1.99. Let's I don't know. Let's pretend you're doing this one here. Fixed variable rate interest home loan to get 3.9. What are we there? Then 2.7 a month. So there you go, guys. So let's have a look here at the data. So the residential property price index, 8 capital cities. So we've got, so we'll go December quarter 19 to quarter 20. There you go, 3.6 with the weighted average, 3.7 in Sydney, 2.9 in Melbourne, 4% in Brisbane, 3.8 in Adelaide, good old Adelaide, 4.2 in Perth, 6% in Hobart, 2.3 in Darwin, and 5.2 in Canberra. I mean, there you go. 10.6 million number of residential dwellings. We can see here the percent change in the 8 capital cities. I mean, there you go. December was going down, shot back up. We had that slight correction there, and now it's going back up again. Residential property prices, a quarterly percentage change, and we've seen that there over the quarter. Everything is up. Everything is going up. What do we have here? The key points rose 3% this quarter, 3.6% over 12 months. Everything's going up. What do they revise? They really haven't had to change that much since the last ones. So there's the total value of stock, dwelling stock. Now, this isn't really captured in inflation, everyone. They don't capture the increase in housing stock. You know, I guess for some, because this is the thing. The increase in the cost of housing is going to impact people's ability to spend on discretionary items, and is going to have an impact on the velocity of money, one would assume, because people are saving more and stashing more aside, aren't they, to get into property? Or you kind of lose hope and give up. And they say, oh, it's hopeless, I'm just going to enjoy life. What do you reckon? I mean, I would suggest the strategy should be to develop passive income streams, but it's getting harder and harder these days. It's just, what incentive is there to try and build a business, to build wealth, to build value in that, when just you get the tax man on your back every time? You're responsible for everything as the business owner. So I can see the allure of people looking at ways where they don't need to have staff, where they don't need to have any of these other burdens or issues. I'd hate to be in retail at the moment and just facing clients, having a cafe or a business like that. That's tough. So here's the median dwelling prices. So let's have a look. So in New South Wales, the mean is 939,000. Victoria is 785. Queensland is 556. SA is 495. WA is 538. I mean, this is it. Each one of these. What's this? Are we looking at the lowest nearly being 10x a yearly income? We go 1,100 times 52. You know, we're talking nearly, 60 grand? So almost 10x. So 430 divided by 60, you know, you're talking 7.1 times the median gross income to get into NT. You know, and apparently everything's fine. guys. This is a big problem in this country. The housing cost being so expensive is just a big issue because it pulls money away from other investments. It de-incentivizes people getting into business, starting businesses. It's a problem. It really is. And there needs to be a discussion about this, not just housing affordability. It's a systematic issue too because of the government intervention in the economy. Now, the problem is people will think that the government will step in and give out grants and things like that, and it'll help them. Maybe in the short term it might actually will in an instant, but there's long-term consequences to that we're going to see. Why do you think we're seeing such a inflation in house prices and property? Because of government interventions extended out over a long period of time. I don't blame people for using property as a way to mitigate tax. Because you can write off the tax that you're paying. You can reduce a big portion of that. And a lot of people pay a lot of tax in this country. And then you get capital gain. So you could be working, make a decent coin, and then you've got essentially a house that's another job, making you that capital gain. So, I mean, there we have it, everyone. Property is shooting up again. Let's have a look here. Here we go. Transfer accounts. Oh, look at that. Residential property transfer accounts, annual percentage change. Everything's up. What's going on here? I can't draw on my thing. Everything's going up. Sydney's up 12.2. Rest of the state 21.8. That tells you the regionals. New South Wales 16%. Melbourne down nearly 20%. Victoria down 14.45. Queensland is up. SA is up. What do we have here? WA up. Tasmania is down. NT up. And all the capital cities are just up. And the rest of the state is just up. So the Australian total is up. It's up. So residential property transfer accounts in the calendar year. We can see the rest of the state. Well, I mean, there you go, everyone. There you go. So there we have it. Property is going up according to the ABS. Are you at all surprised? Is this aligning with what you're seeing? I mean, what else? What else? I think there are a lot of people who are desperately hoping for a property price correction. So it's their chance to get into the market. And that's we're seeing this, so many people just diving in now. We're seeing the FOMO generated by the media. And people are just diving into property, and I can understand why. What wouldn't our government do to keep this going? That's what we should be asking. Now, I don't think the question is even if they will allow it to correct, but what will they sacrifice for the future to just keep this all going, to keep it kicking down the road? When's the next election? Would any political leader have the stomach to allow a correction in property here in Australia? They'll just inflate our money away to nothing before that happens, and then tax us to the hilt, perhaps. Maybe I'm getting too cynical. Let me know your take on it and your opinion in the comments down below. Thank you all for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links on Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.